Modern air power looks like this. Invisible aircraft, stealth coatings that absorb radar, engines that tear through the sky without warning. The F-35 Lightning II, a machine so advanced it costs nearly $100 million per jet. It is a weapon designed to dominate the skies, to strike before the enemy even knows it's there. An engineering miracle. But history has a funny way of finding the smallest cracks. Because right now, the greatest threat to the world's most advanced air fleet is not an enemy missile. It's not a rival stealth fighter. And it's not a flaw in the software. It's a component. A tiny, mundane component. Something so small, you could hold it in the palm of your hand. Without it, the stealth coating fails. Without it, the radar goes blind. Without it, the $100 million jet becomes nothing more than a very expensive museum piece. And the worst part? The country that controls the supply of that tiny component is the very adversary the jet was built to fight. Chapter 1. The setup. When we think of military superiority, we look at the final product. We see the sleek lines of a fuselage, the roaring afterburner, the smart munitions tucked away in hidden bays. We assume that because a superpower can assemble the machine, they control the machine. But in the world of modern defense infrastructure, assembly is an illusion. A modern fifth-generation fighter jet isn't built in one place. It is a jigsaw puzzle of global logistics, thousands of suppliers, spanning dozens of countries, each providing a hyper-specialized part. For a long time, this was seen as an advantage, a way to share costs, a way to access global innovation. But global networks have a fundamental design flaw. They assume peace. They assume that the roads will always be open, that the cargo ships will always arrive, and that trade partners will always cooperate. When a system is built on that assumption, it becomes optimized for efficiency, not for survival. Chapter 2. The problem. Let's look at the chemistry of stealth. To make a jet invisible to radar, you need two things: incredible geometric design and highly advanced materials. Specifically, rare earth elements. Elements like neodymium, samarium, and dysprosium. Don't worry about the names. Just worry about what they do. These materials are infused into the radar-absorbent coatings. They are baked into the specialized permanent magnets that power the jet's electronic warfare suites, its flight control actuators, and its targeting sensors. They are the silent gears of modern military tech. On paper, the military owns the design, but they do not own the earth. The extraction and processing of rare earth elements is a brutal, toxic, and highly concentrated industry. And over the last 3 decades, one nation quietly cornered the entire market. China. They don't just mine the raw ore. Mining is the easy part. They control the chemical processing facilities, the refining infrastructure, the manufacturing plants that turn the raw element into a military-grade component. Nearly 80% to 90% of the world's processed rare earth permanent magnets come from a single supply chain, one that runs directly through Beijing. Chapter 3. The limitation. This is where the math of modern warfare begins to break. If a conflict breaks out, traditional strategy dictates an exchange of force. Missiles against defense systems, jets against radar. But a smart adversary doesn't need to match your hammer. They just need to take away your anvil. Imagine a scenario where tensions rise. No shots are fired, no borders are crossed. Instead, a single policy memo is signed: an export restriction on processed rare earth components. Suddenly, the factory in Texas or Europe that assembles the electronic components for the F-35 runs out of specialized magnets. The stockpile lasts a few weeks, maybe a few months. And then, the line stops. You still have the blueprints, you still have the engineers, you still have the factories, but you lack the specific chemical alloy needed to make the component work. Building a domestic supply chain from scratch, the mines, the refineries, the environmental permits, takes years. Some estimates say a decade. But a war doesn't wait a decade for a supply chain to reboot. Chapter 4: The Scale Problem. The deeper irony of modern military tech is that the more advanced a weapon becomes, the more fragile its life cycle gets. An old Soviet-era MiG fighter or legacy American F-16 was mechanical. It used steel, aluminum, and hydraulic fluid. If a part broke, a skilled machinist could literally forge a replacement in a hangar. It was resilient because it was simple. A fifth-generation stealth fighter is essentially a flying supercomputer wrapped in radar-absorbent material. It cannot tolerate substitutes. If a single sensor magnet varies by a fraction of a millimeter in its magnetic field orientation because of an alternate manufacturing process, the system throws an error code. The jet grounds itself. This is the maintenance trap. The superpower becomes completely dependent on a flawless, unbroken stream of specialized parts just to maintain the present fleet. If the stream turns into a drip, operational readiness plummets. Suddenly, out of a fleet of 500 jets, only 150 are cleared to fly. The rest are cannibalized for parts, sitting in hangars, waiting. Chapter 5: The Strategic Twist. And that is the ultimate goal of modern asymmetric logistics. An adversary doesn't need to win a dogfight over the Pacific to defeat your Air Force. They just need to make it impossible for you to sustain it. This is the hidden logic of the logistics blind spot. It turns your greatest strength, your extreme technological edge, into your single point of failure. Think about it. A country spends $1 trillion developing an unmatched stealth weapon system. They build a military doctrine entirely around air dominance. They train their pilots, their navies, and their armies to assume that the sky will always belong to them. And then, through a series of quiet, corporate acquisitions of rare earth mines over 20 years, the adversary gains the power to slow down that entire machine with the stroke of a pen. It is a slow-motion blockade, one that happens inside the component market before the first deployment order is ever issued. Chapter 6: The Actual Reality. So, what is the military actually doing about this? They are waking up to the math. In recent years, the Pentagon and allied nations have started pouring billions into domestic recycling programs, alternative magnet manufacturing, and securing mining rights in places like Australia, Africa, and South America. They are trying to buy time, trying to build a buffer. But untangling 30 years of globalized manufacturing is like trying to unbake a cake. The components are deeply integrated into everything. Not just aircraft, but missile guidance systems, submarine motors, and satellite communications. Every time a defense contractor sources a part, they have to audit 5 layers of subcontractors just to ensure a trace element didn't originate from a restricted market. The system is under friction. Decisions are slowed. Costs are rising. Because the military has realized that true sovereignty isn't just about who commands the troops. It's about who controls the raw atoms. Chapter 7: The Bigger Implication. This goes far beyond the aviation sector. It completely redefines what a choke point actually is. In the 20th century, a choke point was physical. The Strait of Hormuz, the Suez Canal, a narrow body of water where you could position a fleet to stop ships. In the 21st century, the most dangerous choke points are molecular. They are located in the refining labs, the processing plants, the clean rooms where raw dirt is turned into high-tech infrastructure. The nation that dominates those invisible steps holds a veto power over global security. They can dictate who gets to build the future and who gets left with an empty parking lot. Chapter 8, Ending. So the next time you see a multi-million-dollar stealth fighter roaring through the sky, don't just marvel at the speed or the stealth. Look closer. Think about the tiny components hidden inside the radar array. Think about the magnets keeping the flight controls steady. And remember this: in modern warfare, the most powerful weapon is only as strong as its weakest link. And sometimes, that link is a handful of processed dust from the other side of the globe. If you want to understand the hidden structural vulnerabilities that really decide who wins and loses the conflicts of the future, subscribe to War Logic, because what you see on the surface is never the full story.